Hello, I am Professor Dr. Alberto Unjan from Universidad San Ignacio de Loyola in Lima, Peru. My presentation for today is the Entrepreneurship Intention Questionnaire applied to students in Peru. My partner in this presentation is Professor Master in Science Gisela Figueroa. This is the flag from Peru. This is Peru in the map in South America, and this is our presentation. Entrepreneurship is a key to progress and development in Peru, and the different models have found that entrepreneurial intention is influenced by role model or people giving the example for being entrepreneurs, and the self-employment experience that the candidate has, and the work experience as well, and the attitude toward behavior and the perceived behavioral control developed by the person who is going to be an entrepreneur. Role model influences attitude toward behavior and toward perceived behavioral control, and private universities invite parents to show student progress through the projects and research done by students. Entrepreneurship has been described in many ways. Entrepreneurship is an attitude that manifests an individual's inspiration and ability. Entrepreneurship discovers an opportunity and proceeds with it and fabricates new value or economic development. Different studies have been done about entrepreneurship, and based on the Axen's theory of planet behavior. So entrepreneurship has been described as competitive behaviors that drive the market process and the introduction of a new economic activity that leads to change in the marketplace. In previous studies, intention has been found to influence behavior. Intention, entrepreneurial intention, and for this study, academic entrepreneurial intention. So intention influences entrepreneurial intention influences the behavior for entrepreneurship, and also personal attitude, subjective norms, and perceived control are predictors for this entrepreneurial intention. In different fields of knowledge, science, engineering, business, studies have been made about entrepreneurship, and also among babysitters, sport sciences, and sport management discipline. Also, to compare different countries, there's a study to compare Finland, Sweden, and the United States, another study to compare Spain and Taiwan, and another study to compare China and Germany. In Peru, the Ministry of Work and Employment Promotion, together with the National Institute of Statistics and Informatics, have developed a geographic information system for entrepreneurs. And the Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation has an entrepreneurship service in agriculture information to improve our statistical information system and supply information to producers. So the research question in this project is, what are the variables that influence entrepreneurial intention among university students in Peru? From the theory of planet behavior, attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control have been found to influence this intention. And so I have here my hypotheses, which are personal attitude, perceived behavioral control, and subjective norm. They positively influence entrepreneurial intention, and also subjective norm influences personal attitude and perceived behavioral control. And the model is here, so you can see entrepreneurial intention that is affected by personal attitude, perceived behavioral control, and subjective norm. And the human capital and other demographic variables influence the model. Some figures about entrepreneurship for Spain and Taiwan show the population, the gross domestic product, and the income per capita. To measure entrepreneurship, the total early stage entrepreneurial activity, or the percentage of total early stage entrepreneurial activity, has been defined as the percentage of between 18 and 64-year-old population that is a nascent entrepreneur or owner of a business. That's the total early stage entrepreneurial activity that is going to be used to measure entrepreneurship. The same figures are shown now for Peru: population, gross domestic product, income per capita, and the percentage of total early stage entrepreneurial activity is around 20, 23, and then a little bit lower, 22.39%. The original research that was used compared Spanish and Taiwan samples from students of the last year in the university. The human capital and demographic data are age, gender, role model, self-employment experience, work experience, and country. In this country, in this research, country is Peru. The Entrepreneurship Intention Questionnaire measures entrepreneurship intention, which is the first step to achieve entrepreneurship. And the entrepreneurship intention is the effort that a person will make to carry out entrepreneurship behavior. Some motivational factors that are studied are attitude towards startup or personal attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control. So the attitude towards startup, also known as the personal attitude, and the subjective norm, the perceived behavioral control, are part of the model. And this is the model related to the variables. We have personal attitude, objective norm, perceived behavioral control, entrepreneurial intention, and as human capital and other demographic variables, we have time of experience, time of self-employment experience. If the persons have a role model, yes or no, their age and gender. I worked first with a small sample to determine the standard deviation and use it to calculate the sample size needed. Finally, I proposed a sample size of 96 students, but I was able to work with 104 students from 78 students from a private university and 26 students from a public university. The numbers obtained show that the model was good. Cronbach alpha was higher than zero point 0.7, the Kaiser-Meyer-Allking zero point 0.9, Bartlett's sphericity measured with p very low. I used extraction method principal axis factorization. I found four factors that explain 80% of the accumulated variance. And so the final model obtained is this one, in which attitude and perceived behavioral control influence entrepreneurship intention, but subjective norm does not influence directly entrepreneurship intention, but indirectly through these other two variables. And from age, gender, self-employment experience, and work experience and role model, the most important variable, the variable that influences the model is role model. So I based my research on the original paper by Lin Yang and Chen, who compared Spain and Taiwan, and I added a third country, which is Peru, with similar figures like, for example, population, gross domestic product, and income per capita. And I also found the percentage of total early stage entrepreneurial activity. This model, based on the theory of planet behavior, measures attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control, and role model influence and finds that role model influences personal attitude and perceived behavioral control. And this is the difference with the original study by Lin Yang and Chen, because Lin Yang and Chen found that gender, self-employment experience, and work experience have influence on the model. In both models, subjective norm has no direct influence on the other on the entrepreneurial intention. And so based on these results, I think that the model has a strong support. In future studies, I will study the influence of family, which is in a way the role model, and also I can study universities from different economic levels, and that will be a private university. For private universities, they promote activities for students along the 5 years of studies with two purposes, marketing and loyalty. And so now we can add another purpose, which is to identify the role models. And these activities include invitations to parents to show the progress of students through their projects and research. The comparison of these three countries, Spain, Taiwan, and Peru, highlights similarities. So I can say that university activities to which parents, family members, and public are invited can be used to identify role models and promote entrepreneurship. I would like to thank Universidad San Ignacio de Loyola for financing my participation in the Global Humanitarian Technology Conference this year. And I would like to thank Professor Dr. Francisco Liñán from Universidad de Sevilla, who provided the Entrepreneurship Intention Questionnaire and gave authorization for its use. We are celebrating now 10 10th anniversary for the Global Humanitarian Technology Conference. I am glad to say that I have participated in 2016, last year in Seattle, and now this year online. Thank you very much.